Ah, yes, that equinox, autumn equinox in the northern hemisphere. And it's been an intense one. So today what we'll do is I thought we would focus on um, the digestive meridians more, a little bit more mostly the spleen and stomach. Obviously the intestines will be in there too. So we'll start by sitting comfortably just to get and come into our bodies. Whatever that is for you, let the spine be nice and erect and relax everything. And your eyes can be soft or closed as we start to slow our breath down and kind of come inside. So just letting your attention come to your breath as you draw it in and all the way down into the pelvis. Let it all the way out. Feel free to let some sound out with your exhale. You might like to sigh or just let whatever wants to come out on the exhale. Allow the belly to relax, the hips, the shoulders, the jaw, the tongue, the brow. Allowing our exhale to be long. Exhale should be longer, or naturally it tends to be longer than the inhale. So just allow that exhale to really extend. Oh. And then we'll take our hands and bring them up to our heart and just gently tap a little bit around the heart, thymus area. As we continue to breathe, make sound if you want. Oh. And then bringing our hands up to our head, and just giving our head a little massage. Wake up our scalp and all those channels that run through our scalp, maybe our brain. Oh. Feel free to just let sound out as you breathe as well. And then bringing our hands to our ears, we can just massage and gently pull all around the ears, maybe unfold the little curls there. Whatever feels good to your ears. And then we'll put our fingers inside the ear, gently pull down and hold for a breath. And then let your arms come out from your shoulders. And let's do our flapping wings so we can just allow our spine to move a little bit, lifting the heart and then pulling it back, rounding. We breathe. Wake up our spine and our heart chakra. And then just let your arms come by your side. And we'll go ahead and start in butterfly, a long-legged butterfly. So if you want to bring your feet out in front of you, maybe put a pillow or something under your legs if that's preferable. Let your hips and legs relax. And then we'll just relax forward over our legs. So just let our hips start to open. Allowing our body to come gently into the pose. You never want to pull ourselves into the pose, right? We just want to let go into the pose. And you might massage your feet while you're here as well. Feel free to do that. Whatever feels good to nurture your feet and toes. Letting the hips relax, knees. This is a good pose to actually come back to if you ever find that the pose that we're doing doesn't work for your body for whatever reason. You know, this is one of those good standby poses, you could say, to go back to and just hang out in. Butterfly. You can even do it lying on your back, supine version if that's easy. Comfortable to allow your back, your spine to round and head drop. We can get a good stretch in our spine, decompress the vertebra. Of course, this is the equinox time that we're in, this little period, this window. Well, the exact equinox time was yesterday, Saturday. Well, maybe Friday night for the West Coast people, but right around Friday night, late, early Saturday morning. But it's really a 3-day window of time. It's how it takes a while for everything to happen. It doesn't happen according to our 24-hour-a-day clock. At that time when the day and the night are equal, the dark and the light are equal, it can really, it's a time of balance, so it can also really make apparent and obvious any imbalances, right? Because it is a time of perfect balance. So anything that might be a little out of balance will tend to show up. That's why some people get sick at this time of year. All of a sudden, it descends upon us. Okay, so let's go ahead and walk ourselves up to sitting slowly. You can just maybe move the legs side to side and a little windshield wiper. That feels good to you. And the next pose we're going to do is a little bit unusual for you haven't done it in a very long time. You want to extend your right leg forward and bend your left leg back. This is called half saddle. And I realize that this isn't a doable for everyone because of the knee position. So if that's the case, you might want to just do a different pose, maybe caterpillar with both legs extended, and you can just do a forward fold or something else. But you're able to bring this leg back and lean back on the hands. Some people might be able to come all the way down to the elbows, right? Because you can in saddle and half saddle, and you can also lie all the way down if that's doable for you. So whatever position works, and any adjustments of your leg that need to happen here for support. But just try to get some of a lean back into that stretch and feel the compression in the knee. And just notice if it's too much or if if it is, just come up a little bit more. So just breathe into that. I don't know if I've ever been able to lie all the way back in saddle position. So it's a pretty intense pose. But we do get that stretch through the top of thigh. And that is this where the stomach channel runs is across the top of the leg. Of course, the spleen channel is pretty close to that as well. We won't be here very long. Just see if you can allow your body to relax for a little bit here. It's always good to get some compression and pressure, stress into the knee joint. Your body can handle that. What stimulates those cells that create collagen and elastin in the joints. Okay, go ahead and bring yourself upright. And from here, we're just going to bend our right leg a little bit and bring that foot a little closer. Adjust your left leg if you need to for deer. And you also might want to have a bolster to the right or something if you'd like to have support in deer. And allow that hip to relax, that left hip joint there. You might be able to scooch your foot a little farther away from your hip and still get your sits bones down. Just kind of explore that. And the right leg, wherever it's comfortable, bent here. And then we'll start to twist to the right. So starting up, I'll adjust my body a little bit. Starting up on the hands, taking a twist. To begin with, just breathing here. Staying here as long as you want, or coming down to the elbows at any point. Just letting our breath kind of do the twist for us. Anytime you want to come down to the elbows, but you can also stay up on the hands if you prefer. Of course, over time, the twist might be able to get a little deeper. And then if you ever feel like you want to come all the way down onto the hands, resting your head on your hands, just kind of allowing the chest to drop, or that's where you might like to put bolster under your chest to make it a little easier on the shoulders if you need that. I prefer that. Of course, if we're lying down on our hands and we're allowing our chest to really drop into the ground, we We'll feel that stretch through the underneath of the shoulder and underneath the arms. Get into the upper body channels a little bit. If you prefer being up on your forearms or on your elbows, that is also obviously getting into the upper body channels by putting pressure and weight on our arms and shoulders, or if you prefer to be up on your hands. So any of those variations on the pose, you feel free to move in and out of. For a little bit longer. Deer is a very effective stretch for the spleen, and obviously a good amount of pressure gets into the organs inside in the twist. So we'll start to make our way back, and take your time coming back around. Just lying down to the elbows, up to the arms. Noticing how each variation is a little bit different. Then we'll come back around to face forward, and just relax for a moment as you feel the stimulation in there. And then we'll come out from that side, move the legs in whatever way feels good. Shake them or windshield wiper them, or stretch forward. Coming out of a pose, we just want to let our body sort of guide us. And then coming to the other side in the half saddle, if you are able to do it, the left leg extends forward and we take our right leg back, which I need to lift mine up a little bit. But if you can, bring that leg somewhere close to you, feel the stretch through the top of the thigh and the joint, and then maybe lean back on the hands, onto the elbows. You can also do full saddle if you are accustomed to that and you like to bring both legs under at the same time. Half saddle's a little more forgiving. Just noticing how the knees are feeling. On this side, how the right knee feels. Okay, let's slowly come up from there. Bring yourself up gently. Take your time. And then we'll bend the left leg in. If you can, keep your right foot next to you. Maybe move it a little farther away from your hip. Feel your right hip just relax in that internal rotation. And then we'll come around to the left side. You might want a pillow or a bolster there, and starting up on the hands. And of course, the legs can do whatever they need to do. And just taking a twist here, taking a few breaths here. And then if you feel like you want to come down onto the forearms, eventually down onto rest your forehead on your hands. Any of those variations feels good to you here. Keeping our breath, keeping our breathing full and even in a twist is really important, since it's got to work its way through all the organs, right? Both the spring and the fall seasons are really excellent times to give extra attention to our digestive channels and organs, right? So that we help our bodies stay healthy and in balance. The autumnal equinox is really a new beginning time. So it's really a time of death and rebirth. The seasons change, and even though nature appears to be going into a death process, it's also a rebirth process. In some cultures, this is the beginning of the new year. This equinox is particularly a potent new beginning. There's a lot of energies coming into the planet right now. So you might have been feeling the intensity of this equinox time. Important to stay balanced as best as we can. In my particular life, the imbalance definitely showed up as in a physical way for me, because I've been working so hard physically for the last couple of months that all of a sudden I sort of hit a wall and I couldn't move. And I went, oh, it's the equinox. That's why. So I really had to take it easy for the last couple of days. The pain work its way through. So you might find it in whatever levels, physically, emotionally, mentally. um, imbalances that might kind of show up, be taken care of. So you might start to work your way back up. If you're laying down all the way on your hands, you might start to come up onto the elbows for a little bit. But take your time. Gradually work our way back. I sometimes find that twisting for lengths of time can cause a little bit of dizziness. Right? So just taking our time. And we can come around to face forward and just letting our hip relax for a little moment. Taking a breath here. And we'll bring our legs over us, and whatever movement feels good to you, to your legs and your hips. Shake them out, wiggle them around, take a stretch forward. And then we're coming around onto our belly, and mentioned that you might want to have a strap, because what we'll do is we will use it, or you can use your hands, but come up into Sphinx to start with the elbows under the shoulders. You can let your pelvis sort of rock side to side, or whatever feels good to you. And come into this pose. And then you can either use your hand or a strap. The advantage of the strap is that you can stay higher in Sphinx. You can stay more lifted. And also it's less effort because you have support and assistance. So it's up to you. If you want to use the strap around one your leg, and we'll just add some extra stretch to the front of our hip and leg, our thigh, where the stomach channel runs. In Chinese medicine, the stomach is called the sea of nourishment. Of course, the spleen and the stomach work together and as a yin and yang of our digestion and our digestive processes. Stomach channel runs across all the way across the top of the leg. It starts at the top of, actually around the eyes and mouth. It starts in the face, but it does run all the way through the front of down the front of the body and very top of our leg. So we get a good stretch there. Of course, we're also activating the kidney channel, Sphinx, lumbar spine. That's a nice bit of compression, which is really good for our low back, kidneys. And let's go ahead and release from that side, whatever side you're on. We'll just let that side go and take a short break and half frog on that side. You want to slide the knee up toward the shoulder, rest your head on your hands for a moment. And then we'll slide the leg down and come back up, and we'll do the other side, whatever leg you didn't do, with your hand or a strap. Just finding that stretch there. Part of the reason I decided that it might be good to work with these digestive channels today is I've heard people say they're having digestive issues. And I've actually also had some just very kind of sensitive digestion and very aware of it. So I thought maybe that it's not just a few of us. Maybe it's commonly experienced right now. So time nurturing. Of course, the spleen is about nurturing, the organ of nurturing. Together they provide the nurturing of our body. Stomach and the spleen channels are really connected as well with our thoughts. So another symptom or something that can happen when there's a little bit of an imbalance is that your thoughts become obsessive or sort of kind of on a hamster wheel, going around and around. Spleen imbalance is related to worrying. So worrying and obsessive thinking can be the result of a little bit of an imbalance there. I'd also like to bring your other leg up as well that isn't in this stretch, if you prefer to have both legs up at the same time. Increasing the compression in the lumbar. We'll go ahead and start to release from that side. Time coming out on that side, and we'll come into half frog for just a moment on that side as well. So slide that knee up. We'll slide our leg down and start to come back up and make our way onto our hands and knees if you're able. might want to find a different position to move your spine that's doable for you. Let's start by letting your tailbone curl under and rounding the low back. You might like to press the hips back a bit, a little more through the tailbone, and then lift up slowly into the arch. So letting our spine move gently and slowly to begin with. You might let it increase as your body and your spine adjust. Bigger movement. We can just let our hips circle around and just sort of let our body move and however it wants to move, little spiraling movements. And going the other direction. Allow your head and neck to go with it. And we'll sit back into a child's pose. Ultimate spleen and stomach pose. If that's not doable for you, of course, you can come onto your back and maybe do a happy baby or something similar. And just allowing your knees to be open, feet together or apart. Our arms are comfortable stretching out in front of us, and we get that stretch underneath the shoulder. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves up from there, and we're back onto our knees. We're just going to bring our right foot forward And if you need padding under your left knee, or if you prefer to come onto your back, if it's just isn't comfortable for you, we're going to do twisting dragon. So just finding your lunge, if you're able to be on the ground in a lunge like this. But again, if you're not, you can do a half happy baby supine version of a dragon. The only way you can do the dragons. And then we'll take our right hand, draw our thigh towards us, and twist to the right. Just allow your left hip to drop down. So supporting ourselves with our left arm, or you might want to have a block. Put your elbow on it. If this is uncomfortable for your wrist, put a block under you. And then go ahead and bring yourself back around to face forward and take that right leg back. We'll bring our left foot forward, or if you're on your back and you want to switch to a supine lunge on your left leg, finding your lunge here. Sure the legs and the feet are lined up with our hips, each other, and then we'll take a twist to the left. So again, you might like to have a block under your arm on this right side, or if it's hard for your wrist to support you here, just allow that right hip to drop. Nice twist in our low back. Well, obviously twisting dragon or dragons in general, pretty strenuous pose, pretty active. So checking in with our breathing. Twisting dragon is really a great stretch for the hip flexors, obviously, as well as the psoas. Stretching that whole channel, the stomach channel that runs through the front of our body, front of our leg. Okay, let's go ahead and come around from there and bring left under us. We'll come onto our back. You may already be there, so hug your knees, into your chest. Relax your body for a moment. Let your body get used to this orientation. And then we're going to put our feet on the ground and stretch the legs out. Have the legs together and your arms over your head. And if that's not comfortable, your arms do not have to be over your head, but that's sort of the full version. And we'll start to bend our body to the left. So walk your legs over toward the left and start to bend your torso toward the left. Create that banana shape, that crescent shape. Making sure our hips and shoulders are all the way on the ground. And your right arm, if it's not comfortable over your head, it can go in a different place, wherever it works for you. It's hard for your shoulder. You can even bring both arms down by your side if you prefer. We're opening up that right rib cage, breathing into there, that right lung, stretching our spleen channel, and kind of zigzags up the side of our body. Lateral bend in the spine is also really nice. Spine. You can always increase the stretch by crossing your right ankle, stacking it on top of your left ankle. If that feels good to you, it gives you a little more stretch on the lower body, especially forehead. It's a great opportunity for us to really open and expand our rib cage, our breathing, our lungs, right? Stretching the side body. And start to bring ourselves slowly back to being straight in line with our legs and our arms, and our torso. And then we can walk our legs over to the right, start to bend upper body over to the right. And making sure hips and shoulders are all the way on the ground and your arm is comfortable, especially the left arm. Just mention that whenever you're doing this pose, banana asana, if you do happen to have a curvature of your spine, like scoliosis of the spine, so that one side feels um, tighter and one side feels, um, more comfortable. One side feels less comfortable. You can always do what um, the sides a little bit unequally. Spend less time on the side that's very uncomfortable, or you might want to spend more time on the side that's uncomfortable because you're stretching it. You can just be aware of that. You happen to have an imbalance in the spine in that way. Okay, so let's slowly bring ourselves around to being straight again. Walk the legs over and unbend our torso and bring the arms down. And we can bend our knees and just go ahead and bring your knees one at a time into your body and hug them in. Let your back relax, rock your body. And you might like to curl into a ball and just your whole back side, a little stretch here. That feels good to you. And then any movement that your body wants to make before you come into a pose or a position that allows you to integrate and just take a moment to breathe. So whether that's with your legs bent or straight, or if you want to stick a bolster under part of your body, whatever feels good to you. And just breathe for a moment, allowing the breath to circulate the chi throughout our body. Notice how you feel as you breathe. Notice your breath. Mind. This time of balance, equal dark and equal light, where we begin to descend into the darker months, is a time of gratitude, giving thanks for the bountiful harvest, and also giving thanks for our body for being there for us, giving thanks to our breath, giving thanks to the earth, to Gaia, for being there for us, giving thanks to the seasons for always turning and being there. The sun continues to rise. The planets continue to rotate and revolve around the sun. Everything is still as it should be. And I just want to thank you all for coming. Feel free to continue to lie down and relax or get up slowly. And make sure you get up slowly if you are. Thank you for joining me.